All right, everybody. We're running a little bit late. We had some technical difficulties on our end, so I apologize. But I'm Maria Daniels with Successfully Chaotic, and this show is called Natural Approach Health and Fitness Live. We kind of are doing it in conjunction with my wellness company to be able to, bring you professionals in different areas of wellness. And today we actually have a special guest, Artie Hoffman. I see you typed in Arthur Hoffman. Do you prefer to go by Arthur?
No, I go by Artie actually. Yeah, that was
Oh,
just
okay.
yeah. I'm known. The only people who actually call me Arthur are the people who I grew up with and my family.
Okay. Okay. Well, because I just I happened to look down. I was like, wait a minute. What does he want to go by, Arthur? So
No,
yeah. So I knew you as Artie. So
yeah,
I'll just call
Artie
you
is
Artie.
it. I just didn't. I just screwed up.
That's okay. So well, I mean, most people could probably figure out that Artie is typically short for Arthur anyway. So it's not like a big mystery, I'm sure. But
When I hear
I
when I hear the name Arthur, I think of the movie by Dudley Moore, Arthur.
oh, yeah, that's a good movie though.
That was a
Really good.
great movie.
Yeah, really good. So, Artie, I want you to go ahead and you can dive in and introduce yourself for the people that don't know who you are and kind of what you do. Kind of share, with the people who's Artie.
I've been Artie for 59 years now.
59.
uh, and I've been doing it pretty well.
Well, that's always a good
So
thing. Yeah.
it's all about having a good sense of humor. No, so yeah, so I'm a psychic and a medium and a life coach, and yeah, I've been doing this for now like 32 years. And it's something that I actually learned to do at the Edgar Casey Foundation in Virginia Beach. And
Oh, okay.
I went for a 1 weekend seminar, and I got a postcard in the mail, and it said, "How would you like to develop your psychic ability and intuitiveness? Come to the Edgar Casey Foundation for this 1 weekend seminar." So I asked my wife, who was my wife at the time, I said, "This looks pretty interesting. You want to give this a shot?" She says, "Nah, I don't give a crap." She goes, "You can go if you want. I don't want to go." So I went just to see if I can do it. Not like I wasn't looking at like it was the answer to my prayers, even though it was. And I went, and yeah, to make long story short, they got you in that spiritual zone, with the music and a few words that they were saying and expressing, and then they broke us up into groups. There's 50 of us in one large room from all different parts of the country. So yeah, so when they said, whoever you're broken up with, just share your thoughts with them. Don't second guess it. So yeah, so I was telling people my thoughts, and people were telling me how accurate I was, and I was amazed that I could be with somebody who I've never seen before and start telling things about themselves. Because the thing is, when you're a psychic, it's all about trust and just following your gut instincts without judging. So that's the difference between people like myself and mostly everybody else. A psychic is somebody where you get thoughts or images or messages from the spiritual world, and you don't second guess it, you don't analyze it, you just share your thoughts. And again, people were telling me how accurate I was, as people were doing the same to me. And I thought it was really cool. And so I went home and I got myself a deck of spiritual cards, and I was reading for friends and family for a few years. And people again were telling me how accurate I was, and I just said, "Wow, this is amazing." I was able to predict outcomes and stuff like that. And then I got to a point in my life where, for investment purposes, I needed to make some fast extra cash, and and I didn't know what to do. I have my own window cleaning power washing business, and I still own it after 36 years. I have people who work for me, and you'll love the name of it. It's called Peeping Tom's Window Cleaning.
That's great. That's amazing. That's very clever.
Yeah, and on my card it says binoculars not included.
That's
And on
great.
the back of my card it says Peeping Tom's Window Cleaning. Everyone enjoys looking at a nice piece of glass.
So you know what? That's the kind of companies I like to hire. I like to hire people that do a good job, but they have to have a sense of humor, or I'm not interested.
I got news for you. There was a lady who I went to her house, and she just happened to be outside because I just walk around the outside. I don't even bother the people. I just walk around the outside and count up the windows, and that's it. And so the lady happened to greet me at the door. She just happened to be at the front door. And so when she came out and she saw that I was, there to give her a window cleaning estimate, she looked at me with a smile and laughter. And she goes, Art, I'm going to be honest with you. It makes no difference what you charge. My husband said, because of your name, we're going to hire you no matter what, because he loves your name that much. My husband said, you're going to hire this guy. So that was pretty funny.
So what year was it that you went to that convention? I mean, had you already been in business for quite a long time and you were just looking to kind of expand your knowledge base or just looking for something different, or what kind of spurred that?
No, it was all just spontaneous. There was no premeditated thought about it. It was something spontaneous. Um, I just went there on a whim based on this postcard saying, "Hey, how would you like to develop your psychic ability and
You're
intuitiveness?"
just like, "Oh, interesting."
And I said, "Oh, wow, I didn't know you could learn how to do this. I figure either you had it or you didn't."
Mhm.
And yeah, again, people were telling me how accurate I was. So then I got to a point, like I just said to you before, um, I was looking to make some extra money other than the money that I was making with my own company. So I threw an ad in the paper, and it said, if I don't pull through, no charge. Because I didn't want people to think that I was trying to take advantage of them. I know that there's a lot of shysters out there, and
Yeah.
I really had best of intentions. And I'm asking the public, to pay me money, more money than I've ever made before. And so I wanted to make sure that I was able to pull through on the goods. So yeah. So anyway, 90% of the people paid me, and my whole career ended up taking off like a son of a gun. And people through recommendations, and then I ended up getting on major radio stations, and then I ended up getting on Fox TV, and then I was asked to perform at the casinos in Atlantic City. um, I was asked to perform at the Palace of Versailles in France, all over the place. So it's been really cool. And I do what's known as arty parties, which is where I travel to people's homes and I read for their friends and family. And it's really a lot of fun. It really is. It's informative, and I'm amazed by it. I don't take what I do for granted at all, and I always give credit. Like all the answers that I give to anybody, always I give credit to the spiritual world, the angels, to the Holy Spirit. Um, I was raised in a a Jewish family, and and we're still very strong in our faith with the Jewish religion, but I'm more spiritual than I am religious now. And but I don't think anybody in my family at all is what's known as psychic or a medium. A psychic is someone who could predict the past, present, and future and tell you outcomes of situations. A medium is someone who communicates to angels, and also communicates to people who have passed away. So the thing is that when you say, people have died, no one's really dead. Your relatives who you say, passed away, or who died, they didn't die. We are not of our body. you know our soul and spirit is who we are. So your soul and spirit is utilizing your body that you're in right now. So once your body retires, once your body is finished, it's your body that dies, and then your soul and spirit of who you are lifts up out of the body, and then you go on to a different dimension, and then you help out your friends and family who are stuck over here on this earth, and they give us the comfort, or help us in many different ways. So yeah, so that's how I'm able to communicate to people who've passed away. It's not physical to physical. So a lot of people say, Art, how can you read me over the phone or Skype, or if you want to know about your sister or your brother, it's like they don't even have to be here. Just mentioning to them, it's my soul and spirit that's connecting to their soul and spirit. And then plus with the help of spirit guides, angels, loved ones. And the funny thing is, my license plate says I just know. And in reality, I don't know anything until the spiritual world starts feeding me all the information. And that's the same thing with every single psychic and medium. Nobody knows anything until the spiritual world opens up to them. And so it's very important to give appreciation and acknowledgement to the spiritual world, because, without them, you're not going to be able to see jack crap or to hear or whatever. So a lot of times I'll see pictures in my thoughts. So whatever the picture is about, according to my um, universal language that I have with the spiritual world, whatever that picture is about, that's what's going on with the person. They'll show me images, or sometimes it's a video in my thoughts. Other times I hear songs in my head, and whatever that song is about, that's what's going on. Um, there are times where I'll hear voices in my head, and it's funny. I tell people, people who want to pray or communicate to God, who talk to God, they call it prayer. When God speaks to you, they call it schizophrenia.
Yeah. So, okay, I've had kind of a couple of questions that keep popping up in my head. So, before that you went to this course and they kind of taught you to tap into it, can you look back now before that and kind of pinpoint some things that were kind of going on intuitively that maybe you didn't have the words or the understanding to be able to realize that's what was going on? Or was it just like a light switch came on?
Light switch came on. I had zero. I had zero. I used to get readings when I was in my late teens, early 20s from some psychics. And they would say to me, says, Art, you have the gift. Art, you're able to do what I do. I go, yeah, 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 yeah. I couldn't see tomorrow, let alone, the future. I said, just tell me about my love life and my business life. And that's all I cared about. I didn't want to hear that I'm a psychic also. It's like, I couldn't relate to that because I had absolutely no connection to it whatsoever. I had no ability to it or anything. So, yeah. So anyway, even though I was told, it's like I didn't give it any credence. Like I said, until I saw this postcard in the mail, I just caught me. It was very interesting. But I'll tell you, that one postcard literally changed my life forever. And again, that was at the Edgar Casey Foundation in Virginia Beach. And if it wasn't for them, I'll tell you right now, I wouldn't be here talking to you. And I've been doing it for 32 years now. And I've read for over 32,000 people in my career.
Oh, wow.
And
That's a lot.
yeah, I'm very proud of it. And the thing is, when I was in junior high and high school, I always wanted to be a therapist. I thought I was really good with people and dealing with, knowing how to handle situations or putting two and two together. But the thing is, I sucked at school. I didn't have patience for books. My comprehension wasn't that great. Um, you know, all the years of extra schooling and the money and stuff like that. It's like I had nothing going for me as far as scholastically. I mean, I was very likable in school. I had lots of friends and the teachers liked me and stuff. But as far as being a good student, no, that I sucked. So, I wrote a book called Angels and Answers. And in my book, it says I went to the University of Maryland and Boston for 2 years, but that was just to visit my friends. So, but I didn't take any college courses at all. And so, yeah, but the interesting thing is, I got to be so good at what I do that I have therapists who come to see me for answers. And I was in Arizona, I was in Sedona, Arizona, and I was staying with one of my friend's sister, who is a psychotherapist. So she said I could stay with her. She says, I'll do a barter system with you. You give me a reading and you could stay with me. I said, all right, yeah, that's fair. So I did a reading with her, and she paid me the biggest compliment I have ever gotten my whole life. She said to me, she goes, and she's a psychotherapist. And so when I was doing a reading for her, she said to me after the reading was over, she says, Art, she goes, I got more information from you in this 1 hour than I did in 10 years of therapy that I went to. She goes, you made such a huge impact in this 1 hour. Because when you're going to somebody who's reputable as a psychic or medium, whatever, we don't jerk around on the surface, because it's not always the problem. That's the problem. It's how you choose to deal with the problem. It's how you choose to deal with the person you're dealing with, or how you choose to handle it personally yourself. So I always tell people, you already know what the problem is. Put all your energy into the solution. And so, each person has their own set of cards to deal with, their own set of situations to deal with. So I get right into the emotional depth of what it is that's causing the problems. And when you have an understanding to the situation or to the person behind the scenes, then all the other stuff, a lot of other stuff really doesn't hold water anymore. Because what I do is I give people back their value. I give people back their power, their knowledge of themselves, the wisdom of knowing themselves more, of the situation more, whatever. So, and that's what it's like when you read my book. I have the book called Angels and Answers. And in my book, I promise you that if you were to read my book, you would think that I personally wrote that book just for you. It's that deep and that easily explained, because my comprehension isn't the greatest. So I write my words as if an 8-year old or a 10-year old could understand what I'm writing, but I talk about deep topics, but I explain it in such a way that everyone could understand. I talk about God, I talk about relationships, I talk about one's own self image of yourself, and you're going to have a lot of aha moments. Again, it's called Angels and Answers, and you can go to artiehoffman.com to purchase it, or you can go to amazon.com. Well, what can't you order on Amazon.com? You can get anything on Amazon.com,
Anything.
including
Yeah.
my book. So I'm in the process of writing. Well, I already finished writing the second book, and hopefully, I'm praying by Valentine's Day my second book will be finished.
Hmm,
And that book is called "Have Your Angels Call My Angels."
I like that.
Yeah. So again, it's more on depth of relationships, and the problem is with people is that they allow themselves to grow comfortable with the uncomfortableness of a relationship. They've just grown accustomed to it rather than saying, hey, this isn't good enough. And people respect you as much as you respect yourself. So if you're allowing something to happen, then people are going to keep on disrespecting you or not taking you serious enough or in the way that you want to be treated. It's only because you're not treating yourself in that way, because a lot of people don't have strong enough boundaries for themselves. I mean, it's okay. Listen, I'm very lackadaisy. I'm very playful. I like to joke around a lot. And on the forefront, that's who I am. Behind the scenes, I'm all business. But a lot of times people mistakenly will take kindness for weakness. So I'm all about respect. So if somebody is not respecting me with my kindness, I really pull the reins pretty tight and I let them know that, I don't appreciate that. Um, you don't have to yell and scream to get your point across. The calmer you are in an argument, the more power and control you have. When you're
Absolutely.
losing it, you're dealing with a confrontation and you're yelling and screaming in a confrontation, you lost all power and the other person isn't listening to you because they're being defensive. They only care about what they're saying and you're only caring about what you're saying. So when you're calm, always let when you're in a confrontation, always let the other person speak first and let them get their thoughts or their anger or whatever out of the way. Let them speak whatever they want to speak. While you're quiet, you're having an understanding where they're coming from. And I'm not saying that you have to agree with it. All I'm saying is, but if you tell the other person, I understand where you're coming from, I understand you. People love to hear I hear where you're coming from, or I understand you. I'm not saying I agree with you. All I'm saying is I understand. Now, after they get finished saying everything that they want to say, then you speak your piece. And then once you start speaking your piece, if they're interrupting you, say, hey, I did not interrupt you while you were talking. Now listen to what I have to say. I heard what you said, and now I want to be heard. So, but a lot of times people are afraid to rock the boat and they don't always speak their truth. And that's a problem. So, again, if you want to be respected and appreciated for who you are, then you need to learn to speak your truth. And you can't be afraid to lose. And that's a big fear that people have. I'm afraid to lose the relationship, or I'm afraid
Yeah.
that I'm going to get them angry, or what. You know what? It's like, well, then if they're not appreciating what you have to say, or they're yelling at you because of what you have to say, then they don't really give a crap about you. They only care about their position. They're not looking at yourself from your point of view. They only look at what they want out of it or what they want out of you. So that's not a healthy relationship. But
Yeah.
anyway, that's what I would do if I was president.
There you go. Well, I would vote for you. I like that. I mean, honestly, I mean, a lot of the stuff that you were saying kind of digs down to the same idea that, you know, with this show specifically, we talk a lot about wellness. Now, with Successfully Chaotic, the podcast that's kind of over all this, we talk, about entrepreneurship and relationships and everything. But, with this show, we talk a lot about wellness. And the reason I wanted to have you on in kind of the realm of even this is because, our mental well-being is very much a part of our full wellness. And really to be able to tap into um, feeling our best self, we have to tap into our own truth. And much of what you were saying kind of ties right into that because if you're not living your best life, if you haven't established firm boundaries in your relationships, whether they're professional relationships, personal relationships, or whatever, if you haven't established those, you're not able to live your truth, right? And you're going to always be, chasing this idea of happiness that you're not ever going to be able to find. And I am going to get your book. I have not read that yet. I seen it whenever I was doing some research on you, before we got on here today, and I was like, oh, I need to get that and read it. But seems very interesting. I'm very open to. I always like learning new things and kind of absorbing that information. I do want to ask, so do you have more people that come to you for relationship advice or business advice, or is it kind of a big
It's
mix?
it's a it's a it's a mix of both, actually. I would say a majority of it, and I'm not saying like 90%, like maybe, I don't know, 65% is relationships. They also want to know about, their kids. That's a biggie. They want to know about their career, maybe certain investments or whatnot. Um, yeah, so that's, I mean, I literally cover all gambits. I'm also a medical intuitive. I could feel what's going on in someone's body if someone's hurting.
Mhm.
Um, I'm also, not that I'm a vet. I didn't go to medical school, and nor did I go to a veterinarian school, but I have been also been able to diagnose people's pets and whatnot. It's really interesting. Again, the spiritual world feeds me all the information, and I'm not even looking at the horse. I'm not even looking at just them mentioning the person or the situation. I just blank out my mind, and the spiritual world just starts showing me images about that
Mhm.
person, which I find to be very fascinating. And I'm the one doing it, and I still find it fascinating. It's like I could drive a car like it's nobody's business. I could drive a car as good as anybody else. I'm a very good driver. But you open up the hood, I don't know a damn thing about the mechanics. So how it operates on the other side, I just have a general gist of how it operates. Um, but as far as the extreme detail of it, it's all energy. You know, you're talking about, with the relationships. If you're chasing after other people's approval, that means you're not approving yourself.
Yeah.
There was a really cool saying that I read in like an Instagram one time, and I thought it was amazing. It's something that I'll never forget. I used to walk into a room wondering if people will accept me. Now I walk into a room thinking, will I accept them? So it's about your own self confidence and knowing your own self worth. And one of my friends who taught um, about theology and spirituality, and he's actually a doctor, he's a gastrologist. And he said one of his students came up to him and he asked me this question. And he goes, Dr. Hodis, he goes, is the mind, body, and spirit one, or are they all separate? And so, Steve asked me, he goes, all right, what do you think about that question? And I didn't know the answer in the moment. And I sat there and I meditated. And within a matter of a minute, I got the answer. So here's the answer to that: the mind creates, the body responds, the body reacts, and the soul will feel and observe what you're doing or what's going on. So they all act as one, but yet they all have their own each individual purpose. So just like a car, you have the engine, the transmission, the steering wheel, the back seat, the four wheels. They're all separate, but yet they all act as one. And so your mind, body, and spirit's very much so the same.
That's that. I feel like that's a really good analogy and makes sense in my mind. Now, when you're doing readings with people, especially kind of in this virtual world that I feel like we all live in now,
I know
when you're,
it's sick. It's really
it
sick.
is, it is. Is it? I mean, is it exactly the same, or is it a little bit harder to concentrate on, what's coming through? Because I feel like, and I don't do this, so I have no actual idea, but I feel like it would be a little bit easier in person because you're actually able to feel the energy more. But maybe not.
You're right. Maybe not. No,
Yeah.
the thing is, it's like people just like to be in my personal company. And if it makes them feel better to be in my company, then more power to you. But as far as being able to read, like I said, you don't have to
On
be in
your
my.
end, it's the same.
Yeah. So in other words, if you wanted to make a reading all about your brother or sister or parents or your friend, yeah, all you have to do is just mention their name to me, and I just start flipping the cards and I start getting images about them. And I could pretty much so tell you. When I do private readings with people, I always tell them, I said, bring a picture of your loved one who's passed away, or text me a picture of your loved one. And when I look into their eyes, they start sending me thoughts and images. And it could be a picture of your grandfather when he was 12 years old. I don't care. I'm just getting his energy or whatever. Um, but when it comes to, I'm just saying how I personally work. I have friends who don't need any pictures. They just, go there. But I like draw in the specific energy. I do it a little differently. So, and that's known as psychometry. So when it comes to any, you want to know about anybody who's alive, you just have to mention their name. And when I start flipping the cards, I just start getting thoughts and images about that person, and I could tell you outcomes. I mean, I've given winning lottery numbers over 100, easily over 100 winning lottery numbers, pick threes, pick fours, and it has to come to me spiritual. When people ask me for it, I can't do it.
Yeah.
But I've given people, like I said, or winning situations at the casinos, where they should go, where they should play or whatnot. I've told people to play the lottery, the scratch offs, and they've won. Um, you know, when it comes to sport picks and stuff like that, I suck. I do. I really suck. But my ego gets involved.
Well, and that's what I was gonna say. I think sometimes if it's something you're also personally invested in, I wonder if that kind of clutters it sometimes.
Oh, 100%. If I'm like, that's why it's harder to read for close friends or certain family member, or I should say family members and certain close friends. Because when you're emotionally connected to the outcome with the person or the situation, then you don't know if it's coming through your ego or is it coming through spiritually. So, but like I said, but when it has to do with somebody who I never met from Shanghai, they're much easier. Um, the kind of people that are hard to read are people who actually have a block. They literally put a subconscious block on themselves. They say they want a reading, but in reality, they don't, because they're afraid they're going to hear what they're going to hear. Um, or they're very angry people are very hard to read. Um, People with super, super, super high expectations of what they want, because they're only listening to what they want to hear or what they think they should hear, and they're not really hearing the full truth. So when I do readings for people, excuse me, when I do readings for people, um, I tell everybody, record your sessions. I used to record everything on cassette player, excuse me, and now I just tell people, to record it on your phone, because the recording saved my ass more times you can imagine. Because so many times people have said, no, 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 I don't think so. I don't think so. They re-listen to it days, weeks, months, even years later. And they go, oh my God, Artie, things that you said are like 100% right on the money. Where you think you were talking, where you thought I might've been talking about you, but it ended up being with a family member or a friend. But you said you gave me the names, the dates, the situation, like right on the money, right on the money. I'm blown away every single time somebody tells me this, because, like I said, I don't take anything for granted, and I'm very appreciative. I do say my prayers every day. I meditate while I drive. I've done like a few hundred readings while I drive. I'm great to do readings while I'm driving because I'm in a zone. And I don't
Mhm.
even know how I get from point A to point B without getting in an accident, but I never get in accidents. And, but I just, I'm on automatic pilot. It's like when you're driving a stick shift, like you don't think about when you're shifting into second or third
Mhm.
gear. It's just automatic. It's just a natural when
Yeah.
you're, so you don't think about it. You just do it. Well, it's the same thing when I do readings and I'm driving. It's like, I just do it. It was funny. There was a time a few years ago, I was driving to North Carolina to see my girlfriend, who was my girlfriend at the time. And I did 5 readings while driving to North Carolina, and they were all dead on accurate. They were all happy, and I made money on the way going to North
That
Carolina.
makes it nice, right?
So it
Can't
was
go wrong
pretty
with that.
cool. I enjoyed myself. I was talking to people the whole way down, and so it's pretty good. So, and it's funny. So when my friends come back and say to me, "Hey, Art, you were right about this. You're right about that," and da 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 da, da, I said, "Okay, good. This means I don't have to give up my day job."
So you mentioned earlier that you were raised in a Jewish family. When you went to your family and said, "Hey, yeah, I have been, owning this business as a window washer, but now I'm going to, become a psychic medium and work as that." How did they take that? I was
Laughed.
not raised Jewish, but I was raised Southern Baptist, so strict religion is strict religion. So I was just
Laughed.
imagining how that could have gone. They laughed.
They
Was
laughed.
it
Oh, what's Artie
embraced?
into now? Oh, go
Yeah,
ahead. Tell me. Oh, great Artie. Oh, what's in into now?
yeah,
When they really started taking me seriously, even though I was reading for lots of people already at that point, they started taking me seriously when I was on when I managed to get onto the #1 radio station in New Jersey, who has 500,000 listeners. So, and the funny thing is, the interesting story is that when I was reading for this one lady, I told her about, I don't know, 15, 20 things
yeah.
in the reading. And she thought I absolutely sucked. And I saw her at a party. She was at one of my parties. She said no, just about to everything. Maybe 1 out of 20 things that I told her, she said yes to. But everything else, she said, no, 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 no. I don't think you read me well. Da, da, da. She was really, really disappointed. Well, lo and behold, within 2 to 3 months' time, everything I said to her came true. Everything she denied, she came true. Tell you a perfect example. I told her that her son is going to need some major work done to his mouth, and they're not going to get it right the first time. They're going to have to go back like 2 or 3 times. She goes, "My son has perfect teeth. He has not one cavity. My father is our dentist. You don't know what you're talking about. There's nothing wrong with my son's teeth." Well, what happened was about a week or two later, her son needed a root canal, and it wasn't cleared out properly, and it took them 3 visits to get it right, to get the root canal under control, to get it right. And so anyway, this lady who thought I sucked with everything else that I told her did come true. She was the #1 salesperson at the radio station, and she's the one who got me on the station. So my biggest foe turned out to be my biggest fan. And um, and then uh, yeah and then so when my family heard me on this major radio station in New Jersey, they said, "Hey, Artie must have something here." So, and then I got on Fox TV, and then yada yada yada. But now it's like they pretty much don't know that I'm the real deal. And even their friends, because I've read for thousands and thousands of people. So even my brother's friend or my sister's friends say, "Hey," they find out that I'm their relative, and they go, "Hey, Artie did a reading for me," or "Yeah, he was pretty accurate." So it's not from me telling them, but they hear it
Yeah.
through their friends or other people that. So I was never looking to get their acceptance, to be honest with you. I was just me being me. Now there are a lot of people, being that you said you were raised Southern Baptist. So a lot of people do say to me, "Well, Art, that's against my religion. That's against God. You shouldn't be
Yeah.
doing that. That's really evil." So I tell people it's what your intentions are behind your actions is what makes something right or wrong.
Yeah.
So I have all pure good intentions. I believe in God. I believe in the angels. I believe in the Holy Spirit. I do say my prayers every day. I do everything with the white light. I said, so if you're telling me what I do is the devil's work, then I need to shake his hands and thank him, because he has helped me save and heal thousands of people's lives. And I did everything with the best of intentions. Now, are there people who unfortunately manipulate the public to try to take advantage of them
Oh
because they're
yeah.
in vulnerable positions? Yeah, unfortunately there are, just like there
That's
are.
in everything though.
Exactly what I'm trying to say. So it just depends what your intentions are and the kind of person you are. So, and like I said, I have a pretty good reputation, and I don't have to try to sell myself to anybody. It just is what it is. There are some people who call me up and say, Artie, yeah, I'd like to book a reading with, but tell me something because I'm having a hard time believing. I want to make sure you're the real deal. I said, I don't have to prove myself to you. I said, look at my testimonials, go to my website. I said, the proof is in the pudding. I've been doing it for 32 years. I said, if I've been doing it that long, it means I got to be doing something right. So I said, if you want to book a reading, I will. But I don't try to prove myself to anybody. Um, there are times where I do tell people some hard news that they don't want to hear. So when I tell people hard news, I say to them, well, I got good news and I got bad news. And I just did this yesterday because somebody wanted to know about their relationship. And I was telling them something that they didn't want to hear, but it was the truth. And I know I'm right. So I said to her, I said, look, I said, I got good news and I got bad news. I said, the good news is I'm not God and I'm not right 100% of the times. I said, the bad news is I'm right most of the times. And I said, maybe I suck on this one. I said, I don't think I am though, but maybe I do. So like I said, if you're going to ask me something, get prepared to hear the truth. It might be the best news you want to hear and everything's great. And then it might not be. But if I'm going to drop some heavy news on somebody, I just won't tell them and then just say, oh, you're up Shit's Creek, you're up Poops Creek, and that's it. I will give them solutions to overcome their problem because that's what I am. I'm also like a life coach. So I'm not just one that, a psychic and medium and a life coach, besides being a hell of a nice guy, I got to say.
Hell of a nice guy and a great business name picker too. I will give you that. I love. I still keep thinking about your business name. I love that. Very, very, very unique.
Can I tell you something that you're going to laugh at?
Yes.
There's two other things that I want to share with you. I have a catchphrase for my endeavor. I have two catchphrases. One is Artie Hoffman, the hottest psychic with the warmest heart.
It's good.
And my other catchphrase is Artie Hoffman, psychic medium, Jew with a clue.
That's great. See, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, I mean, I think that's always been the hardest thing for me is in the professional world in general is a lot of people for especially when I was in corporate are just so, uber professional and so just I mean, no jokes, serious all the time. And that's not my personality. And I like when people can kind of blend their own real personality with, with their business, with their, because I mean, we're multi-level, we're multi-layered as humans. And this idea that we have to keep this in this box over here and this in this box over here and this in this box over here is overwhelming at best. So, I like when you're able to kind of mix some fun in with, business.
Oh, it's all about, to me, it's all about having this sense of humor. I always find humor in everything. That's the way I grew up. I didn't know I was a class clown until my high school reunions when people were telling me how funny I was. I was just me being me. I don't remember what I say because in my family, it's like everybody would say something quick wit and funny. It was like a daily thing. So it was just the way to be. So, but people, and then people in school, even the teachers thought I was pretty funny. And it's not that I was trying to, I don't know. I just found humor in everything. I just, I like to make myself laugh. I like to make other people laugh. And, and I give a lot of business advice. I'm very good with giving business direction too, besides medical and personal and everything else.
Well,
Spiritual.
it all does. It all goes together though, really, because and that's the thing. Like, when you say that you do life coach and then you also do some business and you also do some wellness. I mean, the thing is again we are all so layered. It goes together. It all you may have to separate it out to figure out, okay, well, with this do this and with this do this, but it's all going to dial back to the same person, you, right? And so, I mean, I like you do that. I do different things myself, and I know I have some people who will come to me and say, how do you do all of those things? And it's like, well, if you kind of dial it back to who I am as a person, at the very basic level, I'm a helper. I like to help. So, and it sounds like that you're much the same way. So when somebody comes to you for a reading,
I'm all about helping people. I'm all about helping the public. To me, that's everything. I take pride on giving people back their power. I take pride on enhancing people's lives, giving them back their confidence, awareness. Um, Sometimes people aren't ready to hear the truth. But, and I'll give you a perfect example. Last Saturday, I was um, reading for, or last information about two two gentlemen that she was seeing. I said, let them both go. I said, I said they're not for your higher good. I said they're only in the moment of pleasure and stuff. And so anyway, I spoke to her later on that evening, and she started to laugh. She was already, you gave me such a great reading, and you gave me such good advice. And she started to laugh. She goes, but unfortunately, I didn't take your advice. She goes, because I made a date with both guys, one for Saturday, one for Sunday. And she's not ready to give up her, um, I'll call it her cocaine, her drug, which is,
Yeah,
a bad relationship, which a lot of people do.
absolutely.
So,
So when
so
somebody's
it's like
coming to you
whenever
for
you're
a reading,
ready.
I was just going to ask, sorry. When somebody's coming to you for a reading, do they always ask you questions, or I've never had a reading, so like I don't know how that works. If somebody comes to you, do they come with a list of questions that they ask you, or is it something that you just kind of sit down and whatever comes up?
Both, both.
Both. Okay.
Yeah, as I get talking with people, as I'm talking to you, like a list of questions will just start coming up. Like, to be honest with you, like as soon as you started seeing that, I know for in my heart for a fact that you are going to be visiting Niagara Falls, whether you realize it or not.
That would be fun.
No, I saw it the moment you said, because I know you would like to have a little, mini reading right now, which is fine. But yeah, as soon as you started going in that direction, I instantly started seeing Niagara Falls. So I know sometime in the near future, you're going to be going to Niagara Falls. Um, oh, so you want to hear something hysterical? This is fun. This is part of my
Yeah.
sense of humor. So, you know what Epcot's about, right?
Mhm.
You've been to Epcot,
I have not been there. No,
but you know what it's about
I do.
with all the different countries.
Hmm.
So I'm doing a reading for this one lady. And I said to her, I said, you want to know something? I said, I see you going to Ireland. I said, you will experience going to Ireland. You're going to go to England. You're going to go to Italy. And I also see you visiting Morocco. She goes, really? I go, yeah. I said, either that or you're going to Epcot
Or the United Nations,
or
or
United Nations. Or
yeah, yeah, that's great. Yeah, I think a lot of people who honestly, I just never was around anybody that did readings. Like, I grew up in the Bible Belt, and there's not a lot of.
hold
Well,
on a
I wasn't
second.
around. Yeah,
Hold
you're
on a
good.
second. So you have a habit, from what I intuitively see, you have a habit of shooting off from the hips too much.
Oh,
All right,
absolutely.
you are a tell it like it is kind of person. You have no tolerance for BS, and you don't have tolerance for stupid. It's like you just like to get to the point and just get things done, and just boom, you just and when somebody's not doing something right, you like zip right into it, and that's what I'm saying. But when you want to get the most out of people, it's not so much as you need to learn more of how to say things rather than just what to say. And I feel like that's what maybe get you into trouble, because I feel like people misunderstand your intentions. I feel like you have great intentions, but it's the way you come across may come across a little too hard in the way other people might take you. And so, and I feel like you are a more sincere, caring person than you come across, but you need to portray yourself in a better way for other people to take you that way. You want to be portrayed that way, but you don't come off that way.
I love that, and pretty accurate. Yeah, pretty accurate.
Yeah. So and then you overanalyze everything. You are a mauler. You maul it over like 1,000 different ways, and you run conversations in your head all the time about conversations. And like if somebody saw you in your own car driving, they'd be seeing you talking to yourself like you're having a conversation with somebody.
Tim said that it was the Italian coming out.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's seriously, yeah, I do. I mull over conversations. Actually every single thing you said, other than I haven't been in Niagara Falls yet, but we will see. I'll keep
Oh,
you
no,
posted
no, you're going
if
to.
it
I didn't say you
happens.
were,
I'll
but you're
I'll end up
going
calling you
to
and be like,
because I see it as
Artie, guess where I'm at?
you would have to not go on a conscientious thought for you not to go. Or it's either that, let's just say the opportunity will strongly present itself. Somebody will say to you, hey, hey, do you want to go to Niagara Falls or whatnot? I see it as clear as I could see my own face, as soon as I could see my hand, you know, but anyway, the opportunity is going to present itself. Um, you know what? The scene that I'm seeing right now. Do you remember the movie Bruce Almighty
Hmm. Yeah.
with Jim Carrey? And
Yeah,
he's
I
on
love
the
Jim Carrey.
Mist. He's on the sailboat, the Mist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I started seeing that scene where he's on the Mist and he's at Niagara Falls and he's doing a story.
That's
And
great.
so as soon as you started asking about a reading, that was the very first thing that I saw.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. So, how many do you do readings every single day? Like, or almost every day?
Almost every day. Almost
Does it
not every single day. There are
exhaust you?
days. There are days, like, put it this way. I'm going to Florida for a few days coming up soon. So, I might do like maybe just a couple of readings while I'm
Yeah.
away, but it's phone readings. It's not a big deal. But on the most part, what I love about what I do is like I literally get to set out my own hours. Now I have 3 assistants who help me with my career as far as
Hmm.
social media or as far as, a personal assistant and stuff like that. But I'm the only one who sets my own personal schedule because I'm the one who um, I'm going to sit out. There's
Yeah.
maybe days that I just want off, or I want off this evening, or I want to. My assistants don't know that. I'm not a 9 to 5 person at all. So there are
Mhm.
times where I'll do readings as late as 11 o'clock at night. On the most part, it's normal time, evening hours, or during the daytime, or whatever. But according to my personal schedule, I set it out accordingly. And yeah, it's pretty cool. It's I'm very, very blessed. I'm very blessed. I really am. Um, and it's not that I'm more blessed than anybody else. I'm really not. It's just a situation was presented to me, and I took hold of it, and I ran with it, and it's taken care of me. And God's the type of beautiful spirit that says, "While you're taking care of all my children, I will take care of you." So it's like when you are donating of yourself, of your time or money or whatever, when you're sharing yourself with other people, God appreciates that. And he says, well, while you're taking care of my children, I will take care of you and he will supply you with whatever it is you need. Um, a lot of times people say, well, seeing is believing. But when you have faith, believing is seeing. So there are times where you might be helping the people, and metaphorically, you might be helping people in the East. All right. And so all these people you're helping on the East Coast, um, they're not really reciprocating in the way that you deserve. All right. They're taking you for granted, or they don't get the thank yous, or they're not reciprocating, whatever, an appreciation, some level. But what happens is that God and the angels understand this. So what's going to happen is that you're going to get more gifts from the people of the West. You're going to get gifts, from people of the West, or from the North, who's going to bless you with all these beautiful blessings because of all the people that you've helped out in the East. So even though the people that you've helped out in your life and you didn't get reciprocated from them in the way that you deserve or should have gotten, so you'll have other people, whether it be friends, family, anybody, the other people will help you out or give you beautiful blessings, and in ways that you never thought possible. It's like karma. It's like, you get paid back tenfold, whether it be in positive or negative. So
Absolutely. So when you do these readings, I mean, does it mentally exhaust you? I think it would be mentally exhausting to be kind of that, I guess, conduit.
there's two different type of energies. If I'm doing just connecting to the other side all day In other words, connecting to people's loved ones who have passed away. That could be draining if you're doing one read after another, just connecting to the other side. When I'm doing psychic readings, one after another, because I mean, I read, I do a party, I do anywhere from 8 to 15 people, one after another. And believe it or not, I really don't get tired doing it. I mix it up with, mediumship to psychic to psychic to psychic to mediumship or whatever. I mix it up. Um, so I really don't get tired. Actually, a lot of times my energy gets more generated. If I'm tired with readings, that means I'm just personally tired. But the readings themselves don't tire me out at all. That's me
Gotcha.
personally, but I know most people, yeah, they get drained, but I don't allow that to happen. It's just the way that I read. I just don't.
Well, I figured it would be different for everybody, but yeah, in my mind, I would think it would be really draining. Like I said, kind of being that conduit, like back and forth. I just imagine trying to have all these conversations back and forth all day long.
Well,
That
see,
sounds tiring.
you have to understand. So let's say I'm at your home and I'm reading for all your friends and family. All right, say there's about 10 of them. All right, and I'm giving them a lot of heavy duty emotional stuff to deal with. I personally am not connected to all your stuff, all your
Mhm.
emotional crap that you're dealing with. I'm just delivering the messages in accordance to all the stuff that you're dealing with. See, so each individual person, it's like I give a lot of people a lot to think about, but I am not emotionally invested in what I say. When I'm with you, you have my love, you have my time, you have my energy, but I am not emotionally invested in your life, in your karma.
Yeah.
Now, when I'm
That
out
makes
in
sense.
public, say I'm out, say at restaurants, the beach, wherever, the malls, my antennas are down. I'm just like everybody else. It's like I'm not trying, it's not like I have dead people who come to try to talk to me or that, oh,
Well,
this
like on
person, that
Sixth
person,
Sense,
this person.
like on Sixth
No,
Sense,
it's
where
like
they're
my
all
antennas
whispering.
are down. But when I want to turn it on like that, the angels will give me the answers that I need in the moment. But other than that, that's a part of my protection plan. But I do have friends that are on 24/7 and they're always on and they suffer from depression because they're taking on everyone else's garbage and I just choose not to. I don't want to. But I will help you in the moment, you know.
Absolutely. We have a question from Timothy. He said, "How do dreams affect your reality?"
Um, that is a very vast question, actually. There are people who could, there's many different levels to that. So, dealing with dreams, there are people who actually see things before they happen in dreams. Not everyone's like that. I'm not like that. I don't see things premonition wise before they happen. That's not me. Then there are people who will get messages in their thoughts about whatever it is they're thinking about. Your relatives who passed away will come visit you in your dreams. So when you see your relatives come visit you in your dreams, it's not like you're just thinking it. That's your relatives literally or your friends literally visiting you in your dreams. Um, and so I recommend that anybody who could remember anything of their dreams. If you start writing down your dreams right away, you'll start to remember more and more when you have a notebook right by your on your nightstand right by your bed. So when you start writing down the little things, because if you think you're going to remember, you're not. So when you write it down, but what I recommend is like Google what dreams mean. Say the meaning of this dream. So I'll give you an example. So I had a dream one time. It was a very disturbing dream. It happened about, oh God, maybe 8 months ago, give or take. And I dreamed that there was an elephant walking across, a river. And an alligator came up out of the river out of nowhere and grabbed the elephant in its mouth and started to eat the elephant whole, alive. And so I Googled what does it mean when an alligator attacks and eats a person or an animal? And it said, you are going to be put in a position where you're going to see someone suffering and there's nothing you could do about it.
Hmm.
Somebody is going to suffer in their personal life and there's nothing you could do about it. They have to go through their own shit. And that's exactly what happened. So it's pretty wild. So you'll get a lot of abstract dreams. So there are times, so that you think it's a horrific dream, which actually turns out to be a great dream. If you actually dream of blood, that's actually a good dream. When you dream of blood, that means you're being protected, or the person you're dreaming about with blood, they're being protected. Blood represents protection.
Hmm, that's interesting. I know I go through times where I don't dream at all, and then I go through times where it's just dream after dream, and they're super realistic, like super realistic. And I always thought it was weird, that I'll go through a long period of time, no dreams, like nothing, and then it'll just be one after another.
It's funny. My friends ask me, Artie, do you remember your dreams? I said, I'm so tired, I sleep right through it.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's my issue. It's like, yeah, I've got 7 kids, and out of, all the kids, there's 6 still at home, and I just, like, I feel like I've been tired for well, my oldest is 22, so for 22 years, I've been just tired, sleep deprived at this point.
Wow,
So,
God bless you. Holy crap. You
uh,
probably have your own zip code.
no, I mean, we live in the middle of nowhere, so I do get a lot of questions all the time. "Are you Mormon?" "No, I'm not Mormon." "Are you Catholic?" "I'm not Catholic either." So it's just it's funny, and then I whenever I was pregnant with my youngest, it's funny how people think that when you're pregnant that they can ask you any question under the sun that you would never ask a normal person. But somehow if there's like another human inside of your body, they can ask you anything. I get questions like, "Oh my gosh, girl, do you not know what causes that?" And so I came up with this way to shut them up real fast. I'd say, I tell them, I said, "Well, everybody's got to have a hobby," wink at them, and they'd get all red faced. And so I figured out
That's
that
right.
worked, and I'd use it every time.
It's
So,
funny you should say that, talking about being pregnant and stuff. I do a Facebook Live show every Sunday night. I do a free show every Sunday night at 8 p.m. And it's called Artie Hoffman's Angels and Answers. So if you just go to my website, Angels and Answers, on Sunday night, you'll see that I read people for free over the air, and people type in questions. And then my assistant will read a random question, and then I answer it. And so one of my answers to women who say to me, Artie, whenever a girl asks me, Artie, do you see me getting pregnant soon? And I said, yeah, when you stop watching my show and get in the bedroom, I go, your odds go way up.
yeah. Yeah, I would say that would probably help a little. Yeah, I'm done having kids. I'm not having any more. My oldest has a baby and another on the way, but, so I've started transitioning into the grandmother
The
stage.
grandmother stage.
Yeah, which is still weird. I don't know. Like, I had her when I was 18, so I'm a younger grandma. And when she had the first child, I don't know, I mean, I knew I was a grandma technically by definition, but it's something about her being pregnant with the second one now that seems more real. And I feel like I've had to go get my gray hair covered up more often. Like all of a sudden my body's like, oh yeah, this is what we're supposed to do. It's like sprouting out gray hair. It's like nobody's business. It's just been, I don't know, it's interesting, but it is a different dynamic that I'm enjoying. But I've still got young kids. So my youngest is only 4. So that's where it's kind of odd. I've got like the full gamut of ages going on.
I
But
need to express something to you.
okay.
Um, and I meant to mention it when I was explaining about a certain topic before, and it just came to me now. And I feel like I need to respond. Remember, I told you about the mind, body, and spirit,
Hmm.
and they're separate, but yet they all act as one. What happens is that you have your soul and your ego, all right? And your soul knows what's best for you. And a lot of people don't pay attention to their gut. But their ego is saying, no, make it easier. Stay in the uncomfortableness. Don't worry about it. Like your ego will justify of any relationship you're not supposed to be in, or any situation that's not serving you, but your ego will justify why it's okay. It's okay. Don't rock the boat. So your ego and your soul are always having a battle. But when you are not paying attention to your soul, what happens is that your body starts to react, and your body will start to get sick because you are not paying attention to what is right for you. You're not paying attention to your soul. So your body responds. How your body responds, you end up breaking out. You will break out in hives. Your skin will start to break out. You'll have heart problems. You'll get, all kinds of physical ailments, stress related. You mentioned with the gray hairs or whatnot. But your body responds according to how well you're taking care of yourself emotionally and physically. So, if you want really good health emotionally and spiritually, and physically, then you want to pay attention to what feels right, what is really right, and you honor yourself.
Absolutely.
But when you're going
Absolutely.
against the tide, your body's going to react and you're going to end up getting sick. And oh my God, I got a migraine. Shut up. You're giving me a headache, because it's the stress that's giving you the headache. It's not a headache just because you got physical ailments, it's
Yeah.
because of the emotional stress you're dealing with. So when you bang your head, when you get in a car accident, when a lot of stupid ass things are happening to you, believe it or not, you're drawing this energy to you because of your energy, toxic energy. So yeah, you do create your own good luck, but you also could create your own bad luck too. So you just have to start believing and thinking more positive if you want more positive things to happen.
Absolutely. And Timothy said anxiety, which yeah, anxiety can cause anxiety too if you're not living your true self. That's absolutely true.
Yep.
Yeah, it's funny how much a lot of people will, they'll go to the gym, some of them will eat right or whatever, but they're not really digging into, their, like you mentioned, their mental well-being or, their spiritual well-being. And you have to have all those pieces where they're supposed to be in play, or you're always going to have this one part of you that's not healthy, that's not whole.
I agree.
So
Um,
I'll have to tune into your 8 p.m. show. I've not caught that yet. I'll have to tune into it. I haven't got to check
yeah,
that out
you'll
yet.
see it's pretty informative, and I do make it entertaining, and I do sing a little bit. And I put it this way: I could karaoke, but I can't win any contests. But people seem to enjoy. I try to make it like a variety show.
That's fun. That's
It
fun though.
is. It really is. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And like I said, I love giving people messages. I love healing them. And like I said, it's just so rewarding on so many levels. It's just so rewarding. I can't. It. I just love it. I just love it. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Just for putting me in a position to be able to help out so many people. And I really am a therapist. People call me their psychic therapist, and that's one of the titles that people give me.
And I think it seems like a good one. Timothy asked, "How do you clarify impulses?" He's
How do
coming
you
up with all the good questions today.
how do you clarify impulses? That's all ego. That's all based on ego. That's so impulses. That's having an addictive personality. So that's something that you need through meditation, being comfortable within yourself, not allowing yourself to become addicted to, whether it could be about with shopping, it could be with sex, drugs, alcohol, impulses. um, think about, don't feel like you always have to respond. That when people are asking you questions and it's a big time question they're giving you or an answer, you're allowed to say, let me get back to you. Because a lot of times we respond with a knee jerk reaction, and we say things we should not have said, or we offer too much and we said, why did I offer that much, or why did I give too much? Because we try to satisfy the moment. We feel like we have to give an answer right away. So if it is a big time question that someone's asking you, allow yourself to say, let me get back to you later on today or tomorrow, because I have to think about what you just said. So it's to your advantage not to be impulsive with responding so right away. But if it's a part of your personality, it's going to take some training to get there, but you can do it. But you just got to be more conscientious about it. Um, you know, and if you keep on responding to other people, how they talk to you or the way they treat you, if you keep on responding in a very negative way, then they have control of you. Once you stop giving a crap about what they're saying, you're not giving them energy, you're not being on their emotional stage, then you have control. Silence is better than BS.
He said positive impulses, creative impulses.
Oh,
I
as far
guess,
as
I guess how to clarify positive impulses and creative impulses. I'm assuming.
I don't really understand where he's going with that question.
I don't know if unless it's I may be just making this up, Timothy, so correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe he's meaning like with a lot of creatives, a lot of things come to your mind at the same time. Maybe he's asking, how do you clarify which, positive or creative impulses to go with, maybe? I'm waiting to see if he says anything else. That's how I'm interpreting it, but I don't know.
Well, everybody, your own self as far as
Yeah, he's a writer and an actor.
you run with it. You run with it. You write it down. Write down all your thoughts, journal all your thoughts, record all your thoughts, because a lot of times I come up with great ideas or great jokes or whatever, funny moments, and I think I'm going to remember, and I don't, and I kick myself in the ass.
I do that
So
too.
when you have, yeah, so you have to, what you don't have to anything, but what you should do is, write down your thoughts or record your thoughts when you have a very powerful moment. There are times where I'm watching TV or I'm just doing my life, and all of a sudden I'll get inspired by thoughts, and then I create a post and I'll put it on my Instagram or my Facebook, and because these are really great, and it just came to me, you know. So yeah, so I'm fully aware of being impulsive with creative thoughts or positive thoughts. Jot it down, and when you jot it down, usually when you first jot it down, it doesn't come out smoothly. So you relook at it and
Yeah,
re-look at it and re-look at it, so you can refine it and refine it and refine it to make the message or the thought to come out even better and smoother. So, and I always tell people, if you want to write a book, the best way to write a book is that you don't have to write down all details of everything right away of whatever it is you want to write about. If you want to write a book, just keep a journal with you and only write down the title of the chapters that you want to think about. Because if you have, say, about 10 different chapters you want to write about within your book, you don't have to write every single word of every single chapter right away. Once you look at just the chapter title, that will automatically remind you of what you want to write about. So if you have a wonderful story that you want to write about, then just write down the title of the chapter of that story. And then the moment you look at it when you're ready to write, then you could write that whole story, that whole chapter.
absolutely. I know. I do something similar with. I use I have a brain dump journal. And everything creative or whatnot or to do or whatever it gets dumped into that journal. And then I'll go back to it. I have certain times I kind of schedule with myself to go back to it and look at my brain dump journal and things that need to be moved over to specific, like to my calendar or, whatever. It gets moved from there. Sometimes I'll look at it and be like, I don't know what I was thinking. That's stupid. And I'll cross it out. But I dump everything into that brain dump journal, and that's helped me a lot to get it all out of my mind and onto something else, and then I don't even have to think about it anymore. Frees up the clutter in my mind too.
Like I said, it's all about just jotting things down or recording things so you don't forget, because you're in the moment of doing whatever it is you're doing, and then you'll get incredible thoughts. It could be you're having a conversation with a friend or a coworker, and then all of a sudden something will trigger you of a magnificent thought or an idea. So again, just at least write down a few words that's going to represent what you just thought about, and then you'll be able to take off. But if you don't write it down or jot it down, most of the times you're going to forget about it, unless if you have a
Absolutely.
sensational, unusual memory. But on the most part, most people will forget about whatever it is they thought about. I was just joking around with one of my friends. I said, you know what? I had a great idea yesterday that was just absolutely amazing. He goes, what was it? I said, I had the great idea. I didn't say I still have it.
I've been there. Yeah. It's like well, and you always think I'm definitely going to remember this. I'm definitely going to remember this, but then you don't.
you
So
know,
yeah, I
there's a
totally.
very, there's a really funny comedian, a famous comedian. His name's Steve Wright. And he has a very dry sense of humor. And he's awesome. He's really funny. And he speaks very, very slow. And when he says a joke, he waits a few seconds before he goes into the next joke. He's like really, really slow. And he goes like this. He goes, and he always looks like he's high or he just woke up. And he goes, I'm sorry. He goes, a funny thing happened to me 2 years ago, or was that yesterday?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know. I read something one time that said something that with every child you lose 10% of your brain function. I'm like, there's no way, or I wouldn't be able. I'd be drooling on myself, able to do zero
That's
things with all the kids I've
whoever
got.
thought of that. That was just that had to be comedic. That had to be just somebody who's just a comedic person or whatnot.
Yeah, because it was like, I mean, I definitely make those jokes. I mean, I feel like but I think that's more to the stress or the exhaustion and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I like your advice, Timothy. Yeah, I would definitely do what Artie said, and jot down all of the ideas that you're having, all your positive and creative impulses, and just go back and look at them and kind of reevaluate if it's something you still want to do. I know that's worked for me. Similar thing has worked for me.
So, did you hear? Unfortunately, I got to go in just a couple minutes.
Yeah, you're
But
good.
did
We're
you
done now.
hear? You know who Groucho Marx is?
Yeah,
All right. Well, he used to have a show called "This Is Your Life,"
yeah.
and it was in the early '60s. And did you ever hear why he got kicked off of his own show?
No.
Because, well, he interviews people. So, in other words, he would bring a person on stage and he would interview them, and he would have like their family members come that they haven't seen in a long time, their old teachers, or people of their past they would bring to the person and
So like the
interview.
original Maury Povich or what?
Yeah, I don't know, is that what no, but
No.
Groucho Marx was way before him.
Oh, I knew that. I was just saying he was like the original Maury Povich. Yeah, I remember Groucho Marx.
So Groucho Marx, he's always smoking a cigar. Every moment of the day he's smoking a cigar, Groucho Marx.
Yeah.
So he goes like this. He was interviewing this one lady, and he goes, so what's your name? He goes, my name's Elizabeth. He goes, oh, hey, Elizabeth. He goes, and where are you from? She goes, Alabama. I said, oh, very nice. She goes, what do you do for a living? She goes, I'm a mother and homemaker. He goes, very nice, very nice. And he goes, and how many children do you have? 13. He goes, 13. He goes, lady, I like
Wow.
a good cigar, but I take it out every once in a while.
That's pretty. And he got kicked off for that.
And he got kicked off of his show for that comment.
I would have gave him a raise. I like that comment.
Well,
Good.
that was in the 1960s,
Yeah.
So they were a lot more prudish back
Strict.
then.
Yeah.
But then again, back then you were allowed to smoke on TV.
This is true. This is true. We've just kind of like changed what what you can't do anymore, I guess. Yeah, it's I was watching I don't remember what show it was the other day, and they have a lot of actors wearing masks now. It seems strange. I mean, I know that's part of the world now, but it seems weird seeing it in TV, in the shows even. Everybody's all masked and it's just very odd. I was like, wait a minute, who is that? Wait a second. Who is that? I kept staring, trying to figure out who it was.
It irritates the hell out of me. It really does. It irritates the living hell out of me. You know, this was not how life was meant to be. God gave us a perfect world. He gave us clean oceans, clean forests, clean nature, clean everything. God gave us everything perfect, clean, clean, clean. And now we're walking around with stupid. We're not meant to walk around with masks and all these precautions that we have to take. We've created all this crap, and it's a sin. It really is. I feel like it's a sin. It just gets me very upset when I see this, and I just I'm not a big fan of it at all. And that's my personal take to it. So
No, I agree with you.
I'm a very
I
sociable person. I'm a huggy, feely, touchy, loving, affectionate person, and very personable. And I'm all about fresh air and stuff. And now they're talking all about social distance and all this other crap. I just irritates me. Just irritates the living hell out of me. So
Well, I know with the way that things are, I think, we have to just try to do the best that we can with what we're able to do. And I do think that you mentioned about, clean air, clean oceans. I'm very big into sustainability, and that's actually what this show is from. Just like natural living, natural approach to health, natural approach to fit, just natural. Live as close to natural as possible. It's nothing against the conventional way of doing lots of things. It's just saying, our bodies were made to do a lot of things if we allow it to. And, I think that if we can kind of take a step back and say, yeah, we screwed up. There's a lot of things we could have done different. We screwed up, but start trying to look and say, if we change one thing, just one, if we each changed one thing, it would make a big difference.
Yeah, in the perfect world. In the perfect
Let's
world, it just
fingers crossed, right?
unfortunately, there are too many people who are just very selfish and just think of their own needs, or just what's good for them. I don't know, it's not a fair world. It's just not a fair world. So you just got to do the best you can with what you got, and with all this virus going on. So what I highly recommend for everyone, and the reason why I'm not afraid of the COVID personally, because I take all the right vitamins. um, they also say that if you steam, if you have COVID, if you steam your face over a hot boiling water, don't burn your face, but just the steam of water, um, the COVID cannot exist with it. The COVID will die in the humidity or in this hot steam of
Yeah,
water. So if you know anybody who has it, just put their faces over a vapor of steam, hot steam, and the vapor, the heat, the humidity kills the virus right away. Um, and breathe it in. But I take, to protect myself, I take zinc, vitamin C, NAC, bromelain, and quercetin.
TCIN.
QUERTECIN, I think it is.
Yeah,
Quercetin. Take those 5 vitamins. You won't have to worry about the COVID, because it builds up your immune system. And as soon as it's near you, it will just die. Or if you do have it, those vitamins will kill it. So I
yeah.
take those religiously every day. So again, that's vitamin C, zinc, bromelain, quercetin, and a vitamin called NAC.
Absolutely.
It's a
And
long word, but they just, on the
yeah,
bottle, it says NAC. So if you take those 5 vitamins, you don't have to worry about COVID at all. And I don't worry about it at all. I just make myself stronger to deal with it. I don't work from the outside in. I work from the inside out.
absolutely. Well, and that's the way that I approach it too, is I, take care of my body, and I, give it the right tools, and then our body can take care of us. So I agree with that approach, inside out.
Well, darling,
Absolutely.
you look marvelous.
So
Unfortunately, I have to go now because
I
I have some other. Uh,
absolutely. Can you go ahead and tell everybody again what your website is real quick, where they can reach you, and then we'll go ahead and end. We're over on time anyway, so
yeah.
we're good.
If anybody wants to reach me for a private reading, whether it be in person in Woodbridge, New Jersey, or over the phone or Skype or anything, and I do Artie parties. I do travel. If you're buying, I'm flying. But I do parties and I do events. And check me out at artiehoffman.com, ARTIEHOFFMAN, artiehoffman.com. Um, or you can email me, artiehoffman at gmail. And or you could call me at 732-778-7173. And I'll repeat that, 732-778-7173. And you're going to see that I will give you tremendous amount of awareness with your situations. And I have a feeling you're going to be impressed. And I give people back their power and their confidence and awareness and the truth of what you're dealing with. And yeah, you'll feel good. You'll really feel good after your reading. And I do tell everybody to record their sessions. Um, Also, every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I do a Facebook Live show. I read people for free for 1 hour every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on our Angels and Answers Facebook Live show. And I have my wonderful assistant, Mona Lisa, who reads off the questions, and you'll be entertained. And I have a book called Angels and Answers. And I promise you that book is going to help change your life for the better. And it's a
Well, I'm
small book
ordering
and
that.
it's an easy read book. And you can get it on my website, artiehoffman.com, or just go to amazon.com. And check out my Instagram every morning, Artie Hoffman. I start off every day with inspirational messages, and I really, really think you're going to like it. So join in the good, fun, loving, Artie loving energy. Join the Artie
Very good.
party. That's what I'm
Join the
talking
Artie
about.
party. I like the Artie party. Artie party's great. So it's been great having you on. Thank you so much. And NAHF Live will be on again next week at noon Eastern Standard Time.